Jodan Sancho transfer prediction made by a United legend who goes by the names of Gary Neville. Welcome to Rokani Sports. Subscribe to our channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. We go live on a daily in here on Rokani Sports. And here is the home of your Manchester United sports. And I have my friend from India. He was watching in and he really made a recommendation that it should be red, and I really turned it into red. So from blue to red, from red to blue to red. So now we are officially red. So thank you for watching in. We all know that Manchester United is playing a team which goes by the names of Leicester City tonight, and in the next 2 hours the game will be kicking off. But all in all, there is something that has just happened, because United is heavily linked to the Borussia Dortmund star, and guess who has really come out to say something onto this? He's none other than Gary Neville. Gary Neville is one of the Manchester United legends that has been here for so long, and he's really doing great to see to it that he comes out and defends the club. You remember when the European Super League was really trying to be brought in by the Glazers, he's one of the few people who really came out and said, no, it can't be, and he stood with the fans, and he really gained from the fans, and the fans like him a lot. But yesterday, while on Monday Night Football, on what we call Sky Sports, because they are always there with Jimmy Carragher, he really came out and noted out points of Jodan Sancho. He said that because Manchester United have given Edson Cavani a new contract at Old Trafford as a new contract, adding him close to 1 year onto Manchester United to play for United until 2022. So he came out and said that means Haaland and Harry Kane can no longer make it to United, because they have very many forwards. That is Anton Martial, Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood, and Edson Cavani, close to 4. And there are the 2 in the academy that are really doing great, into the under-23s who are really doing great for Manchester United. So he came out and said that United really are not looking at a lad who goes by the names of Harry Kane and Haaland. And he said that now United turned their attention to one player who goes by the names of Jodan Sancho. And he says that Jodan Sancho ticks all the boxes of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because he has been a darling of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and Solskjaer has been really wanting to sign Jodan Sancho into this season, especially even in the summer of last year. We saw to it that United was very much close to signing Jodan Sancho. But guess what happened? United really failed, because the Glazers and Ed Woodward, Patman Judge, failed really to negotiate this deal and really pay out the money that Dortmund wanted. How much did Dortmund want? Dortmund wanted 100. They wanted 108 million pounds, and United said no, we are having close to 75-80 million pounds, and Dortmund said no, we are not doing business. And Mike Zoe came out and said that he made it clear and said no team is going to sign Jodan Sancho from Borussia Dortmund not until it raises close to an amount of money known as 108, close to $128 million. So that was the money that was needed by a man who goes by the names of Mike Zoe in Borussia Dortmund. Now, Gary Neville continued to say that he thinks the news of Cavani putting pen to paper have turned each and everything around, because Ole looks like he is no longer looking for a striker or a forward. They are looking for a right winger. And in his words, this is what he said, Gary Neville. I'm reading it from the Manchester United Evening News that done the story. I haven't got the contacts on the inside that used to have, so it's my assumption because they've been desperate for Sancho. And Ikunen says they did get Sancho and they were criticized for that. I criticized them for that, but they could look incredibly smart if they get him for near half the price, and they've waited 12 months. That's what he said. Yes, because they waited 12 months, because it has elapsed, because by the time United showed interest in the lad, it was really way back last year, after the resuming of the Premier League in the pandemic. I think they can get good money from Daniel James, but again, he could go somewhere else and they can get good money for him. There is a feeling that Jesse Lingard, he's done really well at West Ham, but I think Ole will say no, he cannot explore and go elsewhere. Danny Van Beek, has to stay, in my opinion. The rest of them, Rashford, Fernandes, Greenwood, Pogba, Martial, Van Beek, and Cavani. If Manchester United were to sign Harry Kane and Sancho, for example, then they will play Cavani. Then, when will Cavani play? Will Greenwood? Where will Rashford leave? So, where does Paul Pogba fit? So, he sums up and says that he thinks Sancho comes in and he plays on the right-hand side. You potentially got the backup of Greenwood on that side. You've got Cavani and Greenwood up front, Neville added. So, that's what Neville really came out and said, and he said that I think it's Sancho and then there is business done. And he says if you sign Harry Kane or Haaland, I don't think that basically works for United with the way they've recruited in the last few years. Allowing young players like Greenwood, make sure Rashford plays, Van Beek getting some playing time. Now, that is what a man who goes by the names of Gary Neville came out and said. Now, when you look at things that he's saying, Daniel James is leaving, that's what he's saying. I really feel like yes, Daniel James should not be sold. I think he should be loaned to another team because he needs playing time. Because I know when you look at Daniel James, he's really a good player, but he really needs a manager who is really going to exploit out his talent, like Michel Bielsa, because he wanted him. Even when we bought him way back, Leeds wanted him because he's really a very good player. Blistering pace he's having. He's really a very good player that I really think Manchester United need really to come in and do the needful to him. He needs to be loaned, by the way. I don't think he really need to be sold. Let him be loaned and see how that season is going to go, because he might really shock us and give us a shock of our lives, and we see a different Daniel James altogether. So Gary says he should be sold, but for me, I think he's not going to be sold because Solskjaer loves him a lot, because there is the way Daniel James really comes up with his work rate, and there are games that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer really thinks that it's work rate that is really going to win them, not the individual brilliancy of players, of which for him, for that, I really cancel that, tick out of the box, because I really think United needs players like Jodan Sancho that are really good on the ball and with the brains, football brains, like the Amad Diallos of this world, the Greenwoods, the Brunos, the Pogbas. If at all you really get such players at United, you will see United really playing on a very different pace altogether. That is the United I'm talking about. Now, he has talked about a player who Danny Van Beek is staying. He says he thinks Danny Van Beek is going to stay at Manchester United, and he thinks he's going to get more playing time next season, because the manager looks like he's really going to be knowing the player more and more. Now, we all know that Jodan Sancho coming to Manchester United ticks all boxes because he's really a good player. He plays on the right wing, he can play in the midfield, he can play on the left wing. So, and by the way, United is lacking these players. If at all you remember the time when United really had Ryan Giggs, Ronaldo, Nani, if at all Ronaldo was playing on the right wing and Nani playing on the left, there is the way they used to switch. So it has taken time without us seeing wingers of Manchester United doing that switch, like a right winger turns to the left and the left winger turns to the right. So I really want to see to it that if I don't get a person like Jodan Sancho, like he's playing on the right wing and it's like Rashford playing onto that side, I would like to see them switching sides, to see to it that Sancho goes to the left wing, Rashford exchanges goes to the right, and vice versa, because it really keeps these fullbacks that we are attacking on pressure, because this time round Rashford will come in with his pace, next time round Sancho comes in with a skill, dummies the player out, and things will really make up themselves. So to me, I really think United is getting into good business if at all they get Jodan Sancho as a man who goes by the names of Gary Neville has predicted. So that is something real that I really want at Manchester United to happen, because a man like Jodan Sancho is the big deal in here for Manchester United, and we pray to it that it really happens and United really sign Sancho, because this is a big deal. And the reason as to why United really has to sign Sancho is the Glazers have no option. They have no option. Because if at all they really want to win back the hearts of their fans, because the fans are no longer with them, if at all they really want to see to it that they win the hearts of their fans back, they have to do the following one. Paul Pogba has to be given a new contract, close to 4 years. Yes. United have to sign Jodan Sancho. Why? Because the rivals of Manchester United, who go by the names of Liverpool, are really eyeing the lad. And if at all Liverpool makes it to Champions League football, trust me not, they are really going to go to Borussia Dortmund and get out that player, because United has been down in making transfers ever since Alex Ferguson left. Ed Woodward and Matt Judge, plus the Glazers, have failed really to manage these situations of really signing players that United really wants, because they don't have that convincing power. They don't have that convincing power to go in and convince a player and tell him that you come at United, ABC is happening. And if at all you don't have that, that means you must be good at spending money. But United is neither good at any of those. Spending money, they are mean. They are stingy. So our board is stingy, but the Glazers, Joe Glazer came out and issued a statement to the fans and told them, to the fans, trust that we are really going to do the needful. We are really going to come up with a plan to help see to it that United really signs big and great players in there. And it's really great to see to it that the Joe Glazer really came out and said that, because I really think United badly needed that, because without money, United is going to go nowhere. Talk of money, people will say that Ed Woodward, in his letter when he was leaving Manchester United, said United has spent close to a billion, that's what he said, close to £1 billion on buying players and bringing in players in the academy. But the big question is, was that spent right? Was that the right way United was supposed to spend that money? So that's the big question in there, and we go in to ask ourselves, you come out and say that, but that's not the way we are supposed to be spending money. That's not how United is supposed to be spending money, because they are players, you get players that we are not even going to be using, and you give them lots of deals. Like one matter, player faded up. He needs to be shown the door to leave United, and then you give him a new contract. What is all about that? Phil Jones, not in the plans of the manager. You give him a long contract. Injured ever since then. Now you ask yourself, what is the team all about, known as Manchester United? So those are things that we should know. United has been spending money, but not in a proper way, not in a way that is benefiting the team. So to me, I think United really needs to spend money the better way this time around, because by doing so, we really need to see to it that United really gets the deal. Now, Adam Talksport says we need him. Yes, we need Sancho, by the way, badly. Not even that way, but we need Sancho badly at United, because he gives us different options. Because even that's what Gary Neville said, that when you look at the forwards, United has them all. When you look at Cavani, Anton Martial, Greenwood, and Marcus Rashford, those are 4 forwards. Through the season, they can really see you through the season. But the big question is, when it comes to what we call the right wing, because we now see to it that a man who goes by the names of Mason Greenwood is playing so much onto the right wing. So we need a backup. We need competition in there. We need Jodan Sancho to be there, because Amad Diallo looks like he's not ticking all the boxes of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer really to fit into his team. So to me, I really think we need him, as Adam Talk Sports is saying, and Wrestling 360 is saying Sancho is the big deal. Yes, he's the big deal, because when I look at him, he scored a brace recently. He has put up very many assists this season. If at all I might go through. Remember last season, he started the season of 2019-2020 on a high. Yes, but this season he has only scored, I think he has so far, he has scored 8 for those 12, 14. He has scored 15 goals, and he has scored 15 goals, and I think with a couple of assists in there. Sancho not bright as the other season, because he started this season on a low and later went on a high. But God willing, when it comes at United, when you look at his statistics, by the way, the good thing about Jodan Sancho, he's a different striker, all forward. He's a different forward. He's a different type of forward at Manchester United altogether. How? 1, Sancho ticks all the boxes of really being a player who really comes in and does more of assists than he first thinks of creating an assist or creating a goal than really scoring. He scores when that's the only option he is really having. But if at all that's not the case, Sancho doesn't score. He just passes the ball to the person that he is really into the position to score, and that makes him a winger. But when you look at Marcus Rashford and Mason Greenwood, all those are wide forwards. They're wide forwards. They're like the Ronaldos, the Messis, they're wide forwards. You get? So to me, I really think United is really into a better position, and I really want to see United sign Jodan Sancho here at Manchester United, as Gary Neville said that when you see United signing or renewing a contract of Edson Cavani, expect nothing else apart from no Haaland, no Harry Kane. Expect a Jodan Sancho deal to happen anytime from now. So there are very many other news that is coming in, that United is really looking at this CB central defender and a central defensive midfielder in there in the names of Declan Rice. And guys, if at all we get people like Declan Rice in there, or the Besumas or Ndidi to play into that defensive role with Paul Pogba, Danny Van Beek and very many other players in there, guys, I think they're going to be the real deal, because United would have ticked all the boxes really to come in and do the needful. So now I really want to sign out, because just preparing for the game of Manchester United versus Leicester. They're away. At Old Trafford. Remember, United has won 4 games at Manchester United, and they are looking to win 4 games in a row at home. That is United in there for you. So that's it for now. Adam Talk Sports, thank you for coming in. Wrestling 360, thank you for coming in. It's always nice having you here onto the channel. Please subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do uploading here on a daily. We are coming back with the United versus Leicester game here on Rokan Sports. Thank you very much for keeping it Rokan.